Today we're going to be painting the nose, and it can be a little bit scary, but hopefully after this it's not going to be as scary as you think. Noses have all different shapes, angles and sizes. They have soft and hard edges, lost and found edges, lovely smooth transitions of colour and tone of value. When you combine these elements together in your painting, you will find that you can end up with a pretty good realistic looking nose. This lovely lady is Ursula. I'm going to paint her nose today. Firstly, I'm just sketching up Ursula's nose, making sure that I've got a good drawing, symmetrical on each side, making sure that the wings of her nose are even. I'm drawing in the little highlight on her nose, and under her nose she actually has a cast shadow, which I'm just drawing in here. I'm just marking in where the tonal values are, the shifts in the tonal value, and the little highlight on the tip of her nose, which is very important. The colours I'm using to paint the nose are Naples Yellow on the top, permanent Alizarin Crimson in the middle, and burnt umber on the bottom. So I'm just going to mix up a mid-tone using the Alizarin Crimson and the burnt umber. Now to this mix I can add a little bit more Alizarin Crimson. Just gives me some variations in skin tone. And I can add a little bit more burnt umber. I can also add some of the Naples Yellow. It's a really good idea to have a bit of scrap paper with you before you start painting, just to test out your colours. I really enjoy doing that because you can just play with the paints, with the mixes, see what you can come up with, see what you like, and you've got that as a reference next to you when you start painting. I'm just mixing some of the Naples Yellow with the Alizarin Crimson now. Just gives me a nice light skin tone. And if I want to lighten that down, I just add more water. Naples Yellow is a really good muted colour. It's not a bright yellow, and here on its own it just looks lovely. So my first step is to just add a very light watery wash of the Naples Yellow. I'm just looking at my reference photo and I'm wanting to build the tonal value. So I'm starting out light, because if you start out light, any mistakes you make you can fix them up as you go. I'm mixing Alizarin Crimson and burnt umber together. I don't have much water on my brush. I want to make a nice strong warm colour that I can paint up underneath the nostrils. It gives me nice lines. I have control with my brush, and I can also come back in with a little bit of water on my brush and I can soften one side of the line, and I can just drag that colour down and have a really beautiful soft edge, which is perfect for painting up in underneath the nose. So now I'm just adding that clear water and I'm dragging that colour down into that cast shadow. It's only very soft at this stage because I do want to create a likeness, and if I come in too heavy I can't correct it if I've made a mistake. just dropping more of that colour into that cast shadow shape and defining that edge of the nose and softening that edge with my brush. I'm adding some of the mid-tone to the side plane of her nose, just adding some depth and watering it down just to bring in that gentle tonal value, the transition of colour. Adding that little shape on the wing of her nose that defines where the wing of her nose starts, and adding some more tonal depth to the other plane on the other side of her nose. When I've added this layer on, I've actually previously dried my paint with the hairdryer. I don't want to paint over wet paint. With each glaze that I do, my paint is always dry, so whether you want to sit and wait for it to dry or use your hairdryer to dry it, it's always a good idea. I'm coming over now on a nice dry painting and adding a bit of the Naples Yellow mixed with the Alizarin Crimson, and I'm just sculpting basically the paint around the tip of her nose, trying to get that beautiful shape. Coming over again and redefining the side planes of her nose and softening those edges. I'm trying to keep the highlights free from paint. The tip of her nose there with that little highlight, I'm not painting over that. And there is a highlight down the center of her nose, which is not quite white paper, but it's got a little glaze over there. And I'm coming in here and just adding some more depth to that cast shadow that's underneath her nose. Once you're happy with your progress and you're happy with the way your nose is looking, it's a good idea to get out your kneadable eraser and just rub out your pencil lines. Make sure that your paper is dry though. If you rub out on wet paper, it won't be a happy thing. Make sure your paper's dry. I'm coming in here with more of the Alizarin Crimson and the Burnt Umber mix, and I'm just adding in some of those shadows on the tip of her nose, underneath the ball of her nose there. It's just giving some depth and tonal value. Coming around to the side plane, the wings of her nose. It's like sculpting really. You're basically sculpting a nose with your brush and with your watercolors. And when you do lots of beautiful, gentle layers, it's just, I love it. You're building this beautiful nose and it just emerges before your eyes. The more you add just those gentle layers, and the transformation of this nose coming before you is just really, really lovely, and it's really soothing and lots of fun. Now I've just added a Naples Yellow glaze all the way around her nose, and now it's starting to actually come to life. The more layers I do, the more depth I do, it just brings that beautiful 3D looking nose to life. I'm adding another layer of paint underneath her nose, really giving those nostrils the look that they're actually deep in underneath her nose. It's pushing them back in with that extra layer added. And once again, just softening the edge of that hard line on the bottom side. I'm reinforcing the shape with stronger colours now. I'm happy with how my nose is looking. I know it's not exactly the same as the reference photo. I think I've made her nose a little bit short in the tip there, but it's okay. Redefining those shapes, adding more depth of colour, and softening those edges. And it's just like repeating the process over and over again, darkening each layer as you go, fixing mistakes as you go. And I find with lots and lots of layers, you get a beautiful depth to your nose. If you were to come in with the strong colours just to start with, I don't think you get as nice a depth to your finished painting as when you've added lots of glazing. I'm just adding some of the Alizarin Crimson and Burnt Umber mix just to the little indentations that come in underneath the ball of her nose there, just to give that some more form and some shape. This is where I sort of look at my reference photo and just see all those little incidentals that are there, the little shapes that just really make her nose identifiable as her nose, if that makes sense. What I'm doing now is using a very light tea wash or just clear water, and I'm sculpting the nose. I like to dance around my painting with my brush, which is perfect for just smoothing out lines that I don't like and sculpting the nose. The hot press paper I'm using is perfect for doing this. The brush I'm using is a number 6 silver black velvet brush, and it's a really nice brush. I've also got this really cute little brush that I found at Spotlight. It's a Princeton Select Petite number 0, and this is it here. It's got this wonderful little fine tip that I'm using here just to paint in those really delicate fine lines underneath her nose and around her nose. I've got a lot of control with this brush. It's got a nice thick handle, which I love. One thing I love to do when my painting's nearly finished and it's totally dry is to put a wet water wash over the entire painting. The water tends to just seep into the paper, and I don't know, it just looks really lovely, and it's lots of fun. And then I can come in and just add glazes over top of that. So I'm just dropping in some of the Naples Yellow all the way around her nose, just darkening that tonal value. Now it's dry and I can come in and just reinforce some of those darks down the side planes of her nose. I'm just drying my painting off now with the hairdryer, and I'm going to have a look at my nose and see if there's anything that needs fixing. Just this little spot on the side of the nose. Soften that edge and I think I'm pretty happy. I really hope you've learnt something today with this tutorial, and I hope that you can put what you've learnt to practice, sit down and just have a go at painting the nose. I've only just used the three colours, the Naples Yellow, the Alizarin Crimson and the Burnt Umber, and it's given me some really beautiful tonal values. So thank you so much for watching. Please like, follow and share if you enjoyed this video today, and I hope to see you again. Thank you. Bye.